Here we go. So I decided to do a huge yap sesh, just because it would immortalize this patch, which I feel has some hideously broken, but also a lot of stuff that I love, And I felt the urge to talk about it in detail. I'm Rockpoon8, however you want to call me. My ethos is essentially I'm PR, ranked top 10. Doesn't matter much, I guess. Um, I like learning about the game. The game's cool, and that's kind of it. So I'll go ahead and get started, right? Um, so as you can see, here's my tier list. It has 3 letters, S, A, and B. I guess you can have your little predictions of how it happens to be placed, every character. So my little notes, even with this, I still believe that every character has a decent shot at winning bracket. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. I feel like this meta isn't quite developed in that I feel like anybody could grind the game for maybe like a week and score really well. As in, like, I want to say like anyone below 5th place in the PR is light work. No offense to those in there, right? Um, so like anomaletic style, right? You just like go in, grind the game, on a good character, and then you just score good, right? I still feel like that's possible with every character. Next thing, I reserve the right to change my opinion. Meta, in my opinion, still like really unexplored. For each character, I feel like there's a singular person like dictating how exactly you play the character. It's another one of those things where like if you really wanted to, you can grind the character, figure out new combo routes, new like ways to use moves very easily. And like I feel like there's things where you probably would move a character up a tier, even. Perhaps. But yeah, it's whatever. The flags up is there just to see like decent shot winning bracket. Well, look, decent character representation. Right there. We got bruiser, brawler, gunner, and swordie. We do not mention the 7th place nooby. Although, shout out Weenux. I love you, Weenux. Platonically. Alright, so S tier. I'll go ahead and explain that. So notes here. To me, they're like absurd characters that define the meta. So, you have 2 characters that have near touch of death setups. Like, you get hit once, then you're taking at least like, I don't know, like 50 damage, or are in disadvantage for a really long time. They're versatile. Compared to other characters who do not kill as well or as flexible, right? And great matchup spread. They either have like oppressive matchups against other characters or just do it really well, or even's fine, right? So you'll see like very consistent high play sense in tournaments. They're an established presence in this patch. It's been out for about 2 or 3 months, and so like you'll see like in scrap medals, you got players that like pilot this character and do really well. So I believe here is where I reveal them. By the way, this tier list is ordered, so like I'll try to explain as best as I can my viewpoint on each one of them. And if you disagree, you can go ahead and like yell at me if you bother enough to watch until now. So first up is Swordie. Swordie, I believe, is the best character in RInspired currently. But with a close second, we have Bruiser. So we'll go ahead and begin by talking about Swordie, right? So Swordie's very cool. Bunch of advantages to him. I'll begin with excellent juggle potential. Up air is one of the best moves in the game. Absolutely the best up air in the game. Insane hitbox. You can do 2 in a full hop. Great damage. I believe it's 10% on tipper. 10% on tipper is huge, especially when you can spam the move. And everything in Swordie's kit is geared towards using this up air. You can use up tilt up air, you can use like neutral air up air, you can do like neutral special up variant into up air. Basically everything works, Up throw into up air, down throw into up air. It's quite literally insane how many ways you can juggle your opponent just because swordie has so many moves that send up, right? So he has decent throws. Like I said, up air and down throw, up throw and down throw, both send into up air. Back throw is actually pretty cool because it sends pretty far. Not quite a kill throw, but still like instant disadvantage. Forward throw, you don't really see that often, so I won't bother to expand on that. But gosh, it's like, I'm pretty sure up throw is a kill confirm at a certain percent. Go straight into up special. Really dumb move. So long range and disjointed moves. This is like run of the mill swordie stuff, you know. Disjointed means that you don't have to suffer through the game's attack trading system as much, and so I find that pretty cool. Big advantage for this character. Long range you'll definitely see in like moves like, let's see, like neutral special, where like the downward variant, very good poke, can lead into text chase scenarios very easily. Of course, down tilt is really like that as well. Well, you'll see like swordies poke down a lot. Just cause it works, you know, it's a long disjoint. With a tipper that also leads into up air, also leads into up special. I know I was playing in bracket just last week, and there was a swordie who all they would do is down tilt into up special, and a little bit ashamed to say that they took like 3 stocks off of me, even though I kept winning, right? So yeah, best recovery mix-ups in the game, right? I earnestly believe that swordie has the best recovery in the game. Up special, in terms of like recovering, is nothing to write home about. It's pretty cool, kind of safe, you know. If someone tries to spike you, then you can get good damage on them by like maybe like delaying your up special a little bit and damaging them that way. What I mostly focus on is side special and neutral special. Because neutral special, incredibly fast. It's able to be B reversed. So I consider that like a mix-up. It also stalls you in the air as well. Which both are excellent qualities to have in a move that already does so much. Side special, also really good. Just cause like additionally it also, I believe, stalls you, or at the very least like slows your fall. Alright, let me know if that's correct or incorrect, but yeah, if you angle it upwards, then you basically do not lose any vertical height, right? And so like if you wanted to, you can stall at the stage by like angling it upwards and like basically like crashing into the stage. That's also like really good. You can like wall jump into B reversed, neutral special. You can like wall jump and then stall with side special if someone's like, I don't know, for example, brawler holding S special at ledge. It's very easy to just like stall it out with side special, right? And that's not to mention like the tech that's involved with side special. You know, canceling it allows for very easy usage of like your other special moves, which aren't normally cancelable unless you use that tech. So like, I don't know, Sword has a bunch of stuff. You can get like really creative with it. Great damage output. I mentioned earlier, up air is like absurd, like very fast move that does 10 or 11% at tipper. Other tipper moves also have a lot of damage to them. If you fully charge your down special, that's also really good damage, especially because it's also fast. Up tilt, very annoying. I think it's like 7% on tipper, 4% not. However, it's quite spammable, you know. You'll find that you'll get hit by a lot, and that stacks up damage really quickly. Neutral special doesn't quite connect as well as it used to. I know in past hatches it was like really bad, but also you'll find that with it being a combo tool, when it's in its upward variant, it does amazing damage. And of course, his combo routes as well. I know the infamous like neutral special 1, up air chains. Those stack up damage really fast. Yeah, handles projectiles well. Again, it's like another way the game handles projectiles. Because swordie has a bunch of disjoints. You'll see that they don't really have that much trouble with, like, for example, Gunner's Missile. Super Ball, has 1 HP, and disjoints means that if you space well, it basically never collides with you, and that's like a tool that nooby basically can't use. Fireball also has low health. I think just an F tilt by swordie eliminates that really quickly. And yeah, just like one of those things that makes his matchups a little bit more on his favor. So low skill floor, high skill ceiling. I based this off the Arcadian, which I believe had 2 sororities in grand finals, and several more who scored pretty well. And so you can very plainly tell that this is an easy character to pick up. I mentioned high skill ceiling because it's been established that like this character has a lot of tech, right? There's a lot of stuff that even top level sword players don't utilize that much, and so you can definitely push this character to the limit. And it's the main reason why I believe that he is S tier. There is so much like crap you can do with this character. I don't have specific examples, but just trust me on this. Trust me. So, tipper and hilt hitboxes. Some are quite terrible. S match, for example, not a particularly amazing move. Same with down smash. The hilt hitboxes aren't quite what you want to be landing, and so just like a lot of his moves, if you want to learn the matchup, are very easily crouch cancelable if they suck at spacing him. And so that's a huge thing to be careful about. But again, tipper hitboxes, amazing, right? Down tilt, the angle on that is great. And F smash, down smash, both, they're decent, They used to be like absurd, right? But we got that nerfed. Now they're just like normal, like good smash attacks. But yeah. Now for his disadvantages, he has like some pretty committal approaches, right? Sometimes the swordie will like try to gain an edge over you by using side special, but it's a very like plainly like obvious approach option, just sound for it and everything. Unique animation. So sometimes like swordie is very predictable in their air approaches. And yeah, because you don't have like super fast moves, you won't really see them use jab that often either, because it doesn't have a quite good angle. So like they're quite limited into using like laggy moves like up tilt, down tilt, or going in the air and attempting to use like nair a lot. Now swordie, because of the reasons I outlined earlier, hard to reset neutral as, generally slow moves. I gotta say, like, I think their fastest move is like frame 6. If they're in the air, like nair isn't gonna do it. Definitely not back air, down air. It's just hard. It's a hard life. So has trouble killing off the top. I still kind of believe this, because like up special, you generally want to use it for like a lot of damage. And the vast majority of kills you will find a swordie would be with like charge down special, or like forward smash, down smash at ledge, or most notorious, up special. And so swordie basically has nothing that allows him to kill off the top. So if you take him to a stage like forest, right? He basically never secures kills. But no, don't take Swordie to the forest. Now, low stats. Swordie has this, I believe, the second lowest weight in the game. He also has fairly low ground speed. He has an alright air dash. Sorry, wave dash. Something to look out for is like a side special cancelled by a jump. That he does have like really good airspeed, which is why you'll see them like attack in the air so often. But other than that, you'll find that Swordie does die pretty often, pretty early. I believe that was it. Next up is Bruiser. So here we go. If your opponent can't tech, you win, right? So I'll explain that a little bit more. Bruiser has some pretty absurd stuff. I know what I end up doing, right? Is using down tilt and forward tilt a lot, especially when I use jab as like the combo starter, right? That'll end up tuning into itself a lot. At first, I feel like this is a bit counterintuitive, you know, like if your opponent can't tech, right, they're on the ground, and Bruiser can't grab on the ground. But for that, it's like, I believe that side special can still pick up from there. And yeah, bunch of like really good moves. If you're on the ground, Bruiser is up close to you, right? And there's just so much you can do. Because he has absurd throws, right? Forward air. Sorry, forward throw, a kill move. Back throw, a kill move. Down throw has an absurd angle. And up throw can perpetuate the grab cycle, which he has. If he's next to you, it's bad. It's like really bad. Now, Magnet Hands, right? His throws, all amazing. If you've seen like the hitbox on Neutral Special, it's very wide. And of course, like standing grab, also like very like relatively fast and gives you access to all of his good grabs pretty easily. Side special, very easy to like edge guard using side special. If they recover high, then it's pretty easy to just like side special them and throw them, right? Stages like Vaporwave, Forest even, also like they miss attack on one of the platforms near the edge, very easy to just like side special them. Like they're straight up dead at like higher than like 60%. It's huge. Now, very long combos, right? He doesn't have like fast moves per se, but he has like moves like extremely good hitboxes, long hit stun, up air. He's a very big offender. So is neutral air, and so you'll see both thrown out a bunch, right? So you'll see long combos, for example, I don't know, like up air into throw, into up throw, into up air again, and then I guess the Bruiser has a bunch of liberty in terms of like extending that however they want. And so I feel like if your opponent is at 0%, it's sort of like very easy, like 30%. He has generally low damage on those moves, but it still is a bunch of damage when stacked against each other. And because of that, he doesn't have to win neutral as often as other characters. This is also just like a basic attribute of like a heavy in general. If he has a big hurt box, right, then they compensate by like giving him a really good advantage. And so yeah. Now he's very, very fat. He is the character with by far the largest weight in the game. You'll find that in some games, or even in some matchups, right? He lives upwards of like 150, 170. No exaggeration on that at all. Especially on some certain stages, like for example, Cozy. Cozy, you take bruiser to Cozy in some matchups, and it's very not fun in terms of like securing that kill. So of course, to compensate, he has a very large hurt box. Combos on him are very consistent. I'll touch more on that later with some other characters, but it's just like Bruiser gets to combo you like for infinity, but so can you. Now, in terms of like moves, his bread and butter, of course, is neutral special, but you will quite literally never see down special used on stage, and barely off stage as well. Very high risk, well, high reward, but you will find that like it's a move that Bruiser straight up doesn't have access to. Very laggy. Got gutted, right? This is a character who has been at the tippy top of tier lists for a long time, and now that he's been nerfed really bad, he's slightly lower, but still amazing. So like, I'm kind of like grasping at straws for like his downsides, but still. Now, he has no projectiles and he's pretty stubby, right? His only form of burst movement is down special, which of course is very unusable. And he can't approach. He kind of has to like force you to approach, but just like by like pressuring you, you know? But like against like a gunner, for example, they're given a lot of time to like set up, because additionally he's really slow. As nooby, you can also like set up a lot as well. And swordie can outrange him pretty well. Now, he's also a character where it's impossible to kill off the top. Upper can get the occasional kill at like 150, 160, but like as bruiser, you're generally already killing at like 80%, 90% earlier than that. And so just sort of like, if they're extremely good at evading your throws for some reason, then up air is the way to go. But if you're taking a character who can't kill off the top to like forest or something, they're basically never going to get a kill off the top. But again, do not take bruiser to forest. Right? Okay, he's slow. Again, other like heavy attribute. But like, fair is very predictable. So you'll see them approach with like back air a lot. Back air is a really good move. It's like great knockback, damage, and reach actually. But like, side special has a lot of startup, and if he whiffs a neutral special, then he's pretty much out of commission for like a while. But what you'll see the most is in his recovery. He's very, very slow with his recovery, because it's a charged recovery, with a lot of horizontal gain, but not much vertical gain. The vertical gain is what he gets by charging it for a long time. So for some matchups, you'll say like Gunner or Nooby, that gives him time to set up bomb. That gives Gunner time to set up rockets or the charge neutral special. So it's very not cool and fun times for Bruiser off stage. So now we move on to A tier, right? Notes, I have very little notes for this, right? I find them to be great characters. Most of the ones I've included have like absurd strengths, but I feel like in the scope of the game, they aren't like absurd enough to fare with the S tier characters. And both of them have pretty exploitable flaws, where like learning the matchup just consists of like exploiting that, you know? So I'll go ahead and reveal both. Again, this tier list is ordered, so I'll go ahead and like reveal them both and go with the first character. So at first I have Gunner. Next up I have Brawler. So I will go over both, right? Gunner right here, has some certainly polarizing matchups. You'll find that like not every character has amazing recoveries to like compensate for the lack of ledges. So like versus nooby, you can expect that to be like a 70-30 matchup in Gunner's favor. Gunner's gonna win several matches by simply like taking him off stage with one of his many moves and queuing up like an end special with missile or like bomb, you know, a lot of that stuff. And because he's heavy, you'll find that against Brawler, who is both stubby, has a terrible recovery, and can't quite contest his like bomb, you know, the projectiles. It's just very easy to for Gunner to do like that same routine, you know, launch him because they're light, and just like bombard them with projectiles. And next, he is amazing on certain stages. It'll be like all those stages where like they're large, or have like or have like plenty of platforms that you can camp under. So if you take a gun into like Overgrown, for example, you're very much not going to have a good time because they can like basically dance around you for the entire stage, which is very hard to like deal with, right? Other stages, for example, I feel like Happy Home is not a stage you want to take Gunner to as well. Any stage with like platforms at the corners, right? Very easy for Gunner to like cut off an entire avenue of recovery by like placing a bomb on those platforms. And so you very much want to like avoid those. Now, slow projectiles and bomb means aggressive stage control, right? This aligns with like the certain stages point. Charge, neutral special, is very slow. I've seen a couple kills get like snagged by shooting neutral special and then like throwing your opponent there with the down special. That is a thing. Plenty of other ways to do that as well. Bomb, not laggy at all to deploy and covers a very large amount of the stage. Does a lot of damage as well if you get hit by it. I believe it's like 10% plus burn damage plus you're off stage, and so like it's definitely something you have to respect at all times. And even on like bad stages, bomb just straight up allows him to like camp really well. He's basically always Gunner is basically always going to get his neutral special charge if bomb is up. So half stage, you know the vibes, right? Missile gets kills, neutral special gets kills, bomb gets kills. He has a really good spike in down air, which you also have to look out for. He can like edge guard you from mid stage, which is a little absurd. Because bomb and neutral special are both very slow. And yeah, it just makes offstage very, very hard. You can stay there for a very long time without getting back if Gunner is good at like covering every possible way you can recover, which is actually quite easy against some matchups. Again, I'll mention nooby, I'll mention Brawler. Bruiser will struggle a little bit as well. So bursting movement, now fair is hard to catch. You can almost say that it's like safe on whiff, because they just leave as soon as they like try to hit you. Back air as well can have you traveling across the stage very fast. And so both of those mean that he has excellent horizontal movement that he uses with his recovery. So his recovery ends up not being that bad because of that. And he's just like very, very hard to catch. And like devastating mid-range. Dash attack is also a really, really good move. You'll find that like if your gunner like dash attack cancels his down smash, then he's sliding across the stage. Up smash is committal, but again, it's from mid-range, so it kind of is hard to catch. And even just dash attack, right? It's a good launcher. And sometimes you don't really expect it, or it's part of a tech chase, where basically if you're on the same like horizontal plane as gunner, then it's almost guaranteed you're getting hit. However, he is bugged. This goes like both ways for gunner. Gunner has a jab where like the second part of it straight up doesn't like appear at times, and so that can be a little inconsistent. And also like if you happen to parry gunner's like I believe it's back air, then gunner doesn't get parried at all, as in like they're still able to like move, right? And I consider that bugged, right? That shouldn't happen. And so like again, it goes both ways, but it just adds a layer of like inconsistency with the character that you have to account for when playing against or as. Now gunner has a terrible disadvantage, right? Back air, forward air, down air, very committal. Can't use those at all if you're in the air. Just absolutely terrible in the air. Can't do much. However, gunner does, I believe, fall fast. Gunner is heavy. Gunner is a character with decent recovery, extremely safe because of like the hitbox upon up specialing, and also because like gunner has really good vertical reach. So you might not get the kill, but you'll get good damage on gunner for sure. Now for gunner, small stages feel terrible, while bomb can control a large amount of the stage. It's all about that mid-range. His mid-range is so devastating because he can launch you from there, he can dash attack you from there, but spacing is a little bit odd in small stages, and so like gunner will not benefit as much as other characters such as brawler and bruiser, who do amazing in small stages, and so that's the thing to look out for. You can probably take a gunner to cozy and they won't do amazing, mostly because the side blast zones are so far apart, and that platform that rotates across the bottom. It's good for them, but also it's really good for you, since they can't edge guard you as well. So that's definitely a thing to consider. You can absolutely counterpick a gunner with a good stage. And with gunner, some of his stats are terrible. Some of their stats, my bad. It's 4 in the morning. I don't know how long I've been recording. I apologize. But bad wave dash and grounded speed. Gunner accounts for this by having incredibly bursty movement, but it's a lot of like wind up, you know? So you will find that they won't move that much, which is fine because they're a zoner. But yeah. Right, and predictable trajectory. So this comes with the burst your movement. There's only so many ways you can manipulate forward air or back air to change your distance, and so you can definitely catch a gunner who forward airs a lot by just waiting for the hitbox to go away and just like taking your turn. Same with back air, same with dash attack, which has a punishable amount of end lag. And so it is pretty hard. Additionally, if gunner wastes their air dash, air dodge, off stage, you will find that it's very easy to punish them as well. They have decent air drift, but with a move that like covers a good amount of distance, for example, swordie down smash, it's a guaranteed off stage again, you know? So yeah, next up is brawler, right? Fast and long lasting buttons. Back air lasts a long time. Neutral air lasts a long time. Down air, which isn't used that often, also lasts a long time. Very fast air buttons, which means that a lot of the time, even though brawler's stubby, there's a lot of harm in like approaching blindly, you know? And of course, really fast buttons, those involve like forward tilt, jab. Jab is a huge offender because you can cancel it into down tilt, cancel it into up tilt, to some very solid moves, which either forces a tech situation or basically like launches you. And so you have to look out for that. Now, for your projectile, one of those things that also got nerfed, but they made it faster to compensate, and now you will see this a lot. Fireball has okay range, but when used multiple times in a game, can stack up good damage, good burn damage, right? And you can use it to like combo into up air, for example. And it's another one of those like things that force tech situations. Its knockback is kind of low, so if you use it off stage, it won't do much, except give them their air dodge. But like on stage, low knockback into, say if they miss a tech, then brawler has an insane tech chasing game, right? Because he's both incredibly speedy and has little gaps in pressure. Jab helps with this. Of course, a lot of his air buttons are insanely good for that. He has great like running speed, which translates to good air speed as well, and so you'll find that a lot of the time you will be in disadvantage for very long periods of time. Especially if you're like a person with a big hitbox like bruiser, or someone who gets comboed easily. Like, let's say, gunner, right? It happens to be like that. And so, just like gunner, he does have bursty movement. You'll see it in, like, side special, for example, which is an incredible move by itself. It allows for early kills. It can be cancelable into an air dodge that doesn't burn your actual air dodge. And can be, like, reversed pretty easily, just to like psych out the opponent. It's just a very good move. Down special I believe also applies to that, but you won't see that as often just because generally it's not a very amazing move. But along with bursting movement is this very fast S match, which is his premier killing tool in a lot of circumstances. And so he also has a devastating mid-range. That is because, you know what? He doesn't. I just left that in because I copied and pasted this. So ignore that. So in my opinion, he has some unusable moves. the most out of the roster. You'll never find a brawler, for example, attempting to hit the sweet spot in fair unless they practice it for like hours or are like incredibly good at spacing. Down special, very laggy, and a hitbox that doesn't last very long compared to his other moves. A lot of his throws, aside from back throw and possibly down throw, other than those two grabs, not very good at all. And so you will basically never see those either. Just like little aspects of his moveset that don't feel quite usable. And yeah, poor dude. Hopefully he gets like some sort of like overhaul. He has very awkward kill brackets. By kill brackets, I mean just sort of like little like windows of like percentage, where like you can do like up air, side smash, side B, my bad. Which can kill very early, especially in like stages like Forest and stages like Coliseum. Which can be pretty egregious when it comes to like killing early. And yeah, other than that, all of his moves are sort of like designed to like combo with itself, and so like you're basically left with like, again, the unusable moves involved in that. So like up smash, he can't kill very well with up smash. Up special, when used defensively, also doesn't kill very well. It does good damage, but it does not kill very well. And so you're left with like forcing yourself to like tech chase your opponent and snag a kill with forward smash. And so that can get very awkward and linear. His recovery, to be honest, side special is what makes it great, but up special is very unusable unless you have your air dodge saved, because it doesn't put you very far. It isn't amazingly safe on the top, which means you don't really have like a lot of like drift to work with, right? And so it's just pretty hard to use. Sometimes there's some angles where like brawlers straight up can't recover, and so that can get frustrating as well. But all in all, a very good character with an impressive advantage. It's all about making sure you take care of those kills and work with your recovery. Now B tier. Alright, so you know who this is. Like, everyone knows who this is. Rest in peace, Centrum. Fly high. Alright, nooby. Okay. Nooby, I believe, can kill, unlike what mainstream media would tell you. Of course, not as amazing as like swordie up special type killing, not as amazing as like bruiser throws would tell you. But nooby still is solid in that department. Down special can actually kill at some unexpected percents. He has a very usable dash attack cancel, where his up special you won't see that often because that doesn't kill, but down special is very solid if you hit the tipper. Same with a forward tilt, although that is a very hard to hit tipper. Back air, also an amazing move. Forward air, if it hits, can kill very well. Especially if you're able to like edge guard a person recovering high with forward air, or even recovering low with forward air, because it stalls you in the air and you have an amazing recovery that allows you to recover safely if you successfully edge guard an opponent. And that's not to mention neutral special, which generally isn't amazing. I feel like there are some niche applications with like if someone recovers a certain way. For example, bruiser. You might be able to like get like a neutral special on them, but only like once. Like, come on. And also underrated is his spikes. Up special, if you propel it downwards, that's a very good spike. That's also one of the safest spikes in the game that are effective. And so it's really fun to land, and I recommend 10 out of 10. Nooby is very slippery. He has by far the best wave dash in the game. I think a lot of characters would kill for his wave dash. Bruiser. But yeah, that means he is hard to catch. This also translates to a decent airspeed. Though his walking and running speed aren't that good, so you'll see that they often wave dash all the time, just to like make use of this massive advantage. Nooby has a very overloaded kit. Bomb has so many angles that you can launch it from. He has a very usable dash attack cancel, like I mentioned. And his forward smash is also, with all of his variants, a bit hard to like juggle, I guess, both for the player and the opponent. And so what you'll find is that against a newbie, there's like a lot happening that you have to account for if they use all of their kit. Now, amazing combo game. Against the bruiser, right? They're never going to see the light of day, right? Forward air, a very special, very fast. Especially quick combo extender if you can chase your opponent down. Like as they're falling with multiple forward air ones. Up tilt, if it wasn't so inconsistent, can be very good as well. I believe that you can tech chase with down throw, which is just one of the many things that newbie can use against you. Down tilt, also a great angle that allows for a lot of stupid things to happen, especially with especially in conjunction with like neutral air. Neutral air is basically newbie's bread and butter, right? It's like 7%, but you can almost always like chain it twice, like falling neutral air, hit fall into neutral air again. And if there's platforms, that makes it even easier for newbie, where you can chain it up to like 4 times, and that makes for very easy damage. That's not to mention like Ice Stagger, you know, his forward smash upwards variant, where very fast move that sends at a similar angle to down tilt. And so he just like has like a lot to work with. He has access to like the normal like jab cancels, like jab up tilt, jab down tilt, which are both combo starters. And so you'll see those a lot. Super Ball also happens to like add a few more avenues, an extra dimension to his kit. There's just a lot. Now, his advantages. He has laggy approach options, right? Dash attack, while a very good move, good burst movement. It's very laggy and allows your opponent a free punish, which isn't very good because newbie is absolutely the lightest character in the game. And in a game where like basically every character has access to good combos, that against a character who can't handle that many losing interactions before he dies, is very painful. his moves can be used against him. I believe this to be a small disadvantage because nooby can very easily work around that, like baiting people with down special, but 15 damage is nothing to scoff at all, and a few improper usages can lead to an entire stock, because this character does end up dying very early. Now, very bad recovery, very, very bad recovery, in terms of like, similar to Bruiser, where it takes a long time for him to get back into stage. Nooby's jetpack, while it's very far-reaching, it's very slow, and allows your opponent to set up for proper edge guarding, which nooby isn't very well equipped to work with. Now he does have access to pretty good air stall in forward air and down special, and even like neutral special in some circumstances can work out, but the main thing that you're almost always going to be using in conjunction with those is the jetpack, and the jetpack is just very much not a good move. Super light, again, he is the lightest character in the game, and as you can tell, our meta characters are characters that flourish with early kills, swordie's up special, or a bruiser combo into a throw, makes for a very bad matchup for nooby. Gunner, like I mentioned, very repressive against nooby, because combined with his recovery, that is bad, his weight makes for incredibly early edge guard kills by Gunner, who just simply does it the best. Biggest thing, he is inconsistent, right? His scoop hitbox on his up tilt often does not land on the characters with smaller hitboxes, you know, especially those that are lighter, right? Swordie and Brawler are among those, and of course nooby himself. Forward air, very tight hitbox, very small hitbox, I mean. Where forward air 2, which ends up being one of nooby's kill moves, isn't quite usable, because of its inconsistency. With good SDI, you end up falling out of up air, which also happens to be how he kills off the top. And basically, all of his kill moves, or at least a very large amount of them, are like, you just fall out of them. Or they're very like SDI-able, where for example forward air is just barely a kill move, SDI makes that incredibly harder. Same with up air. So in a way, it is very hard to kill. Especially when back throw, which is one of his kill moves, is SDI-able because of like the way the game handles it, compared to like Bruiser, who has kill throws, but they are unable to be like SDI'd, which is one of the reasons why he's so good. And yeah, nooby, all in all, a very inconsistent character, and I believe that's all I have for you. So thanks so much, if you were able to like sit through any of that. Sorry for rambling so much. Perhaps incomprehensibly, because I pulled an all-nighter for this one. But yeah,